Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the show. Got a good one for you here today, guys. I'm going to be giving you guys a list of my must-own wide receivers for the 2023 fantasy football season. Now, these are not going to be the super obvious guys. We all know who we're taking in the first round as far as wide receivers are concerned, but these are guys that are going to be taken at least a little bit later in the draft, and I just think that they have awesome draft value. So I'm going to be starting right here with the first player on my list, and that is Calvin Ridley. Now, we have not seen this guy play football in forever, so a lot of people are forgetting about him. And when somebody hasn't played in quite some time, you're usually going to find that this player has an awesome value in the draft. This is a guy who, in his last full season, guys, had 1,300 plus receiving yards, 9 touchdowns, and 90 catches. He finally had that, breakout season that we wanted him to have. And so we know that this guy has the talent. We know that he has the ability to produce mid-range wide receiver one numbers at least. And now he's getting transferred over to the Jaguars offense. I absolutely love this change. This is very much because we're going to have a third-year Trevor Lawrence. We have an offense that's improving on a weekly basis, and we have a team that's kind of heading in the right direction. They've gone through the necessary coaching changes they need, and they became a playoff team this year. So this team has tons of firepower. Calvin Ridley is going to step in and be the wide receiver one for the team. I know that Christian Kirk's a talented wide receiver, but he is nowhere near on the level of Calvin Ridley. So Calvin Ridley is going to step in and absolutely take over this offense with Trevor Lawrence slinging him the rock. I think that he has tremendous potential. This is a guy who's incredibly hard to cover. In his last full season, he was a top 5 wide receiver against man coverage. You pretty much have to double team this guy if you want any chance of stopping him. Now he's going to have an elite quarterback in Trevor Lawrence to sling him the rock. I love his outlook for the 2023 season. You need to grab this guy. Next player on my list is going to be Garrett Wilson. Now, Garrett Wilson had an awesome season. He became the clear-cut wide receiver one for the Jets. This is a guy who had 1,100 plus receiving yards. And what I really like about Garrett Wilson this last season, 9th in red zone targets. He was a top 10 player as far as overall targets within the red zone of any wide receiver in the NFL. This is a very good sign because, if you follow my podcast, we'll talk about this all the time. There is no more important statistic for wide receivers than red zone targets. If you're getting targeted within the red zone, you're going to produce awesome fantasy numbers. So Garrett Wilson, the outlook is really good. We saw this guy play this year. He has an incredible ability to run after the catch, thus creating a lot of big play potential. And next year, we should see somewhere around 120 targets in the Jets offense. I love the outlook in this coming season for Garrett Wilson. Next player on my list is going to be George Pickens. Now, this is a guy who is an absolute alpha. And as far as raw talent and ability, he is one of the best in the NFL. Do not get it mistaken. This guy is an elite talent, okay? And he is going to have an incredible career in the NFL. And in his second season, we're going to see him break out. This past season, there were some good things and some bad things. The bad thing with George Pickens was the target share just wasn't there. He just wasn't getting thrown the ball enough. But we know that in wide receivers' second season, especially if they're an elite talent, they tend to see a significant increase as far as their overall target share. So look for George Pickens to see a lot more targets next season. And this is a guy who was third in the league as far as his average depth of target, 15.6 yards average depth of target. This guy, they love to feed him the ball downfield. He's a deep threat. He could beat you at all levels of the field. This is a guy who had a 57.1% contested catch rate. This is 13th in the NFL. And so considering the fact that we know he has speed, the ability to run routes, he gets targeted downfield, he has great hands, we've seen him make highlight reel catches. This is a guy who is going to have a great NFL career, and I think he's going to really break out in his second season. Next on my list is going to be Amari Cooper. Now, Amari Cooper, he's pretty much famous for being a wide receiver that just gets slept on every single season in fantasy as far as just real-life NFL talent. This guy is way better than everybody likes to give him credit for. He had 1,160 receiving yards this year in a Browns offense that's supposed to be a run-first offense. I don't think that anybody expected Amari Cooper to have a great season once we found out that Deshaun Watson was missing time. And next season, we're going to have a full season of Deshaun Watson slinging the rock to Amari Cooper. I love this. I think he has the potential next season to have 1,300 plus receiving yards. I really do. I think that this offense is going to pass a little bit more next year. And so with that being the case, Amari Cooper has tremendous potential. He had 126 targets this past season. Look for him to have another season of 125 plus targets this coming year. It's still going to be an offense that runs the ball quite a bit, but all that really does is help the overall efficiency of the offense. Amari Cooper is still going to be a wide receiver that receives a very healthy target share. So draft him with confidence. Next and final player on my list is going to be Christian Watson. Now, I was talking about Christian Watson all offseason. I said, draft this guy. He's going to be quiet in the first half of the year and absolutely go off in the second half of the season. That's exactly what happened. So I'm not going to get too far into the Christian Watson statistics because he really didn't even start getting targeted until the second half of the year. But this is a guy of complete athletic dominance. He's 6'5" and runs a 4.3 40. Athleticism obviously translates very well to the NFL. Once this dude really learns how to play football, he's going to be absolutely and utterly unstoppable. We already saw him start to come into his own in the second half of the season. As of right now, Aaron Rodgers is still the quarterback of the Packers. We're going to obviously have to monitor that over the offseason, but this guy has a very promising career. With Aaron Rodgers, I think he's going to absolutely go off next year, but even if he gets a different quarterback, I think that he has some awesome potential for next season. So draft Christian Watson with confidence. All right, guys, I do appreciate you guys tuning into my video. These are my must-own wide receivers for the 2023 fantasy football season. All right, guys, appreciate you tuning into the video. Catch you later.